Welcome to Genius Plus Twins. I'm Mrs. Fidel, and this is test prep on fractions for grade 6 math. Today, we're going to work through some important fraction skills that you'll need to master for your upcoming test. The first skill we'll focus on is converting a mixed number into an improper fraction. Let's look at the example of 3 2/5. When you see this mixed number, you need to remember that the whole number 3 can be thought of as 3 groups of 5 over 5. Since you're working with fifths, if you add 5 over 5 plus 5 over 5 plus 5 over 5, you get 15 over 5. Now, you take that 15 over 5 and add the 2 from the original 2/5, which gives you 17 as your new numerator. The denominator always stays the same when you're doing this conversion, so your final answer is 17 over 5. This improper fraction is equal to the original mixed number of 3 2/5. It is important to think about what you're actually doing when you're converting from a mixed number to an improper fraction. You could simply perform the calculations of multiplying the denominator by the whole number, adding in the numerator to get your new numerator, and realizing that the denominator stays the same. It would give you the answer, but you want to be sure that you're understanding where those numbers are coming from and not just simply that you are multiplying and then adding. Now let's reverse the process and convert an improper fraction back into a mixed number. If you're given 22 over 5, you need to think about how many complete groups of 5 fit into 22. Since 5 times 4 equals 20, you know there are 4 full 5s in 22. This means 4 becomes your new whole number. To find the leftover amount, you subtract 20 from 22, which gives you 2. This 2 becomes your new numerator, and the denominator stays the same at 5. So your final answer is 4 2/5. As well, if you were simply performing the calculation, you know you would need to divide the numerator by the denominator. Now let's tackle a more challenging problem, where you need to place numbers in descending order, which means arranging them from greatest to least. You're given 4 numbers: 13 over 4, 2 1/2, 11 over 5, and 3 3/4. The first thing you should notice is that 2 of these numbers are improper fractions, while 2 are already mixed numbers. Before you can compare all the numbers fairly, you need to convert those improper fractions into mixed numbers. Let's start with 13 over 4. To convert this, you figure out how many complete 4s fit into 13. Since 4 times 3 equals 12, there are 3 full 4s with 1 left over. The denominator stays the same, so 13 over 4 becomes 3 1/4. For 11 over 5, you need to determine how many complete 5s fit into 11. Since 5 times 2 equals 10, there are 2 full 5s with 1 left over. The denominator remains 5, so 11 over 5 becomes 2 1/5. Now that all 4 numbers are in mixed number form, you can compare them properly. You have 3 1/4, 2 1/2, 2 1/5, and 3 3/4. When comparing mixed numbers, you always start by looking at the whole numbers first. You can see that 2 of the numbers have 3 as the whole number, and 2 have 2 as the whole number. Let's compare the 2 numbers with 3 as the whole number first. Since 3 1/4 and 3 3/4 have the same whole number, you need to compare their fractions to see which is larger. You can think about this visually or use your knowledge that 1/4 is less than 1/2, while 3/4 is more than 1/2. This tells you that 3/4 is definitely greater than 1/4. So 3 3/4 is greater than 3 1/4. Since you're arranging in descending order, 3 3/4 comes first, followed by 3 1/4. Now, let's look at the two numbers with 2 as the whole number. You have 2 1/2 and 2 1/5. Again, since they have the same whole number, you need to compare the fractions. You can visualize what these fractions look like, or remember that 1/5 is less than 1/2, because half of 5 would be 2 1/2. But we only have 1/5. This means 1/2 is greater than 1/5. So 2 1/2 is greater than 2 1/5. Putting all four numbers in descending order, you get 3 3/4, then 3 1/4, then 2 1/2, and finally 2 1/5. However, there's one more crucial step you need to remember. The question originally gave you some numbers as improper fractions, so you need to return those numbers to their original form in your final answer. The mixed number 3 1/4 was originally 13/4, and the mixed number 2 1/5 was originally 11/5. Your final answer in descending order should be 3 3/4, 13/4, 2 1/2, and 11/5. It's very important to remember this last step and put the numbers back in their original form while keeping them in the correct order. Thank you all for watching, and that's all for now. Till next time.